And there we go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? Let's see, we got Janet is here, Sharon Barrett, JJ's in the house, Dale from Ohio, Joan is here, Terry, we got Paul, Whispering Pines, Nostradamus. Good evening. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you guys have had a good weekend. I can't believe it's already freaking Sunday. Where's the time going? That's what I want to know. Where is the time going? It is absolutely crazy how fast time is flying. It's amazing. So, anyway, all right. So, just give me a second here. I powered out here before the live stream, and it's been a weird day. It's been a weird day. The weather's been weird. Everything's just been a weird, strange day. A lot of information. I think sometimes almost too much information coming in. If that could be a case, So, but anyhow, we're going to be talking about this bill that Congress has approved. It's definitely going to pass the Senate because the Democrats have the majority in the Senate, and then Biden is going to sign it. And you know, it's a lot of games being played, and we're going to jump into the breakdown of this. But $95 billion is what we're giving away. 95 billion. Are we helping America? Nope. Well, sort of. We'll, yeah, and not one penny for the border. Yes, thank you, Vicky. What happened to that? That was part of the other bill, right? They had that. They had like a whole bunch for the border. Now we don't get any for the border. Here's what kills me with the whole thing, and like I said, we're gonna break this down here in a little bit. Supposedly, we don't have any money, right? Supposedly, and I say supposedly because if they decide to turn on the printing machines, they can print as much money as they want, apparently, right? Because we are now going to be giving another $95 billion away, basically. So uh, it's, we're supposed to be in this huge debt, right? Oh, we're in terrible, terrible debt. But yet we can continue to give away more and more and more of our money. Does that make any sense? Yeah, what about our infrastructure? What about our problems that we have in this country that need to be addressed? You know, yeah, Social Security is broke, but we have hundreds of billions to send to other countries. And, well, supposedly Social Security is broke. When you have people, and well, we'll get on a whole thing about Social Security here. that we could get on that whole thing too. When you have people that have paid into the systems for their whole life, and people that are getting Social Security that never worked at all, that never put 1 cent into it, why are they getting Social Security? That's a question that I have. I thought Social Security was for the people that actually paid into the system, right? Does that make sense? So, uh, I don't know. So anyway, we're gonna get into this. We'll continue with the rant of everything else later on in the stream and talk about why are they continue. What I don't get why Americans are continuously getting screwed, and that's okay with everybody. And then it was like they were like, here's a list of all 112 Republicans that didn't vote for the bill. Like they're trouting this like this is a great thing. Oh, this is wonderful. This is a wonderful thing. But one of the things that I think is interesting about this bill, and we're going to talk about this when we do this breakdown, where some of this money is going. Yeah, the war machine has priority. JJ is 100% correct. You know, I uh, I 100% correct. Okay, so we have $95 billion going to Ukraine. Now, I want you to listen to how this is broken down. It says 61 billion for Ukraine, and replenishing U.S. weapons stockpile. Okay, think about that first of all. So we have, so basically it says 13.8 billion um, basically is going for Ukraine to give them more weapons and stuff like that. 9 billion is in assistance in the form of forgivable loans. So basically, they're basically going, here's 9 billion of this 61 billion. You don't have to worry about ever paying it back. What's up with that? Okay, that's another thing. So, but then a lot of that 61 billion is replenishing the stockpile that we've already given away. Think about that. How many weapons, how much ammo, how many guns, how many bombs, everything else, tanks, everything that we've already given away to them, that they have to have this bill to try to replenish our stockpile. And that ain't going to happen overnight. It's not like you go, okay, here's $30 billion. Go ahead and start making these weapons. That's gonna take time. Now, of course, the big businesses that are making these weapons are doing the happy dance right now because they know they're going to be working for years, years and years and years. We have 26 billion going for Israel. Of that 26 billion, is 4 billion is dedicated to replenishing Israel's missile defense system. Okay, so $4 billion is going to just help um, replenish that. We got 9 billion going in the form of aid for Gaza, humanitarian aid, supposedly humanitarian aid. I'm sure there's no way that any of that would be pilfered off in any way, and that Hamas would benefit in any way of that 9 billion. I'm sure that's not going to be the case at all. I hope you can hear the sarcasm in my voice when I say that. Okay. We have $8 billion is going in the form of help to U.S. allies in the Indo-Pacific region. With part of that, and this is what to counter China. Okay, so 8 billion is going into that region, with more than 3.3 billion going towards submarine development and stuff in that region. So what do they think that a lot of that money they're making a submarine fleet for that region because China keeps banging out ships like crazy. And again, with another of that 8 billion, 1.9 billion to replenish. Now remember this again because I said this with Ukraine already as well. With 1.9 billion to replenish U.S. weapons provided to Taiwan and other regional allies. So we're talking about a tremendous amount of money that is basically going to be dropped in the laps of these companies that make weapons. The majority of this money is going to replenish weapons that we've already given away. We're giving more away. Like, it just, and then you got Zelensky going, oh, yeah, thank you for this money. That's going to help us win this war. No, it's not. I don't believe so. Russia's going to win that war, just a matter of time. What this will do is it will some of this weaponry and stuff like that delay the inevitable. Yes, it absolutely will help delay the inevitable. It'll kill more Russians. But at the end of the day, Ukraine is not beating Russia. It is not happening. And yet the FBI announced that China is going after our infrastructure. Of course they are, JJ. They're saying that I saw that as well, where they were talking about they're already into the different systems and they're just sitting there waiting for the time. So they're already in. It's not a matter of they're going after, they're already there. That was what was being said in that as well. So it's insanity, folks. I mean, that we, again, as somebody said earlier in the stream here, what do we, well, first of all, we got 250 in the chat. We got 89 thumbs up so far. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel, and I do appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. Again, it really does make a big difference with the algorithms as well. So, also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. But yeah, uh, it's embarrassing how many people voted to use our tax money that way. Oh, exactly, exactly. When I think the majority of Americans, we've already basically stated what is our priority, right? Our priority is the southern border. Are they taking care of that? Nope. Not one nickel of that money was going towards the southern border. Where was that from before? Where was that from before? Where was the bipartisan, you know, where was the bipartisan support for supporting our before any money goes to Ukraine, any money goes to Israel, any money goes to the Gaza Strip? We need to take care of America. We need to stop taking care of everybody else. That's what we need to be doing. You know, it is it's disgusting to me that we continue to do what we do when we spend more on defense than I can't remember exactly how many other countries behind us, but combined, there's a whole bunch of them that are like all the next ones. The guy that's in second, which would be China, and all the other ones, we spend more than them combined for that. So we always have money for war. So remember that, folks. We always will have money for war, but we don't have money to take care of our own people here. We don't have the money to focus on the mental health, right? We'll continue to blame guns and not the real problem, which is the mental health of these people that are going out and doing these shootings. Nobody in their right mind, I want you guys to remember this, okay? Nobody in their right mind, child, adult, whoever, decides to wake up one day and goes, "Hey, you know what I think's a good idea? I'm going to go out and shoot a whole bunch of people today." Nobody in their right mind does that because that's not something that we would rationally think to do and say, "Hey, I think this is a good idea." So there's a lot of mental health issues, and again, and I mentioned this before, and I'm wondering if there's a record somewhere of what medications these mass shooters were on. I'm curious because you know darn well that a lot of them were on medication. There's no ifs, ands, or about. There's no doubt about that. That a lot of these mass shooters were on some form of medication. And then, but what do they do? What are they doing? They're setting the precedent that if your kid goes and does this, we're going after the parents as well, which is again an indirect attack on the Second Amendment. We're in a war, all right, folks. We're in a war right here in America. We really, truly are. And you have this continuous breaking down of our society. You have, I just saw that and I thought that this was a very telling stat. Uh, because I just ran into somebody the other day too that said this to me. I ran into a woman and she said, "Oh yeah, no, I homeschool my daughter. The percentage of kids going to public school is down. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. It's down like 4% because people are choosing alternative options to educate their children other than sending them into the public school system, which I don't blame them not one minute. Not 1 minute. So the guy who burned himself in front of the courthouse was mentally ill also. Well, there you go. Yeah, and exactly. So, but the school systems are horrific. We have let the lunatic left be in control of that. And when parents stand up, and think about this, folks, when parents stand up and go, "This isn't right, I don't want this," what is the result of that? It results in parents being arrested at school board meetings. We've seen that, right? Is that not? So I'm not saying anything that's not true. They're being told to shut up, and these board members for these schools are allowing certain things. They're banning certain things, but allowing other things. When I'm sorry, I just here's I'm going to bounce all over the place on this stream because I'm really thinking about a lot of different things. I don't care what your orientation is. I don't care what you do. Okay. What two consenting adults do behind closed doors is none of my business, and I could care less. Okay. But I do not believe that 5-year-olds should be exposed, if you will, to transgender story reading hour. Whoever came up with that idea is out of their freaking mind. Because I'll tell you right now, as a parent, if my kids were that age, I guarantee you they would not be going to school for the drag queens to be reading story time. And here's the thing: you want to be a drag queen? Knock yourself out, have a good time with it, do whatever you got to do. But you don't expose that to little kids. They got enough on their plate. Their brains are trying to develop. They don't need to worry about what sexual orientation they are. And there's a lot of twisted parents out there that got a little boy, right? They got a little boy, but they really wanted a little girl. So they steer their child in that direction. I mean, it happens, folks. It really does happen. Why is it that we have a society, right? And I want you to think about this, that there was proposals to allow 16-year-olds to vote. Do you remember this? I don't know if you guys remember this or not. So there was a proposal that said that they wanted to let 16-year-olds vote. But yet, right? But yet, now they allow 18-year-olds to vote. They allow 18-year-olds to vote. But if you're an 18-year-old, you are allowed to vote. But in a lot of states, you can't buy a gun until you're 21, right? In a lot of states, well, all the states now, you can't buy alcohol unless you're 21. And now the big push was, and I don't know if it's nationwide yet or not. I heard that when I heard it, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Now you can't buy cigarettes until you're 21. So you're old enough and responsible enough. Oh, but then the other thing too, again, you are old enough and responsible enough to go ahead, join the military, fight and die for your country. We'll give you a gun then. We'll give you a gun then because you're doing it for your military. But you're in the military, right? You're a 17-year-old kid that went in the military, and so now let's say 3 years later, you're 20 years old. You've been off to a foreign war, fighting for America, supposedly fighting for America, and you've seen combat and all kinds of stuff, and then you come back. You can't even buy a weapon for yourself for self-defense in our country because you're not old enough. I mean, it's insanity, folks. It's absolute insanity. If you're going to make it a precedent that they can't buy alcohol, they can't have cigarettes until they're 21, they can't buy a gun until they're 21 because they're irresponsible. How are they responsible enough to go in the military and fight and die for our country? How are they responsible enough to make a decision when it comes to voting? You can't have it both ways, but that's how they have it right now. They have that going on right now. And then again, why are parents being held responsible for the actions of their children? Are there bad parents out there? There's a lot of bad parents out there. A lot of them, don't watch their kids, don't care what their kids are doing, and when their kid does something and they act out and they do those type of things, then they're going to blame the parents for the actions of the child that they didn't even pay it. Like I said, there's bad parents. We've all anybody that has had kids have seen other parents that were bad parents that didn't take care of their kids. So it's crazy. It's absolute craziness. Mr. Rose says, I'm just glad Americans are well taken care of and the U.S. can help others. Yeah, right. We're well taken. I know you're being sarcastic, Mr. Rose. That's very funny. But yeah, guys, if you have any statements or questions, you want to put them in all cap locks for me because they stand out more. I do appreciate that. It really does make a difference. It makes it easier for me that way. We've lost our mind as a country, folks. The people that we have voted into power and to be in charge, are absolutely taking advantage of the situation. They're not doing what the majority of Americans want. The border situation has not changed, not one iota, right? Hasn't changed at all. Doors are still wide open. They're still streaming in. They didn't vote for anything to help the southern border, right? They didn't vote for anyone. They didn't vote. No money to close the southern border, build the wall, put more troops down there, and that's okay. But yet we can give billions and billions of dollars to other countries. Well, I agree with that statement, JJ, but I can't say that out loud um, on here because if I do, I'll get a strike. So, but thank you for that statement. Crazy world, folks. It's absolutely, in the more and more I see what's going on, the more and more that I realize that I'm on the right path, that I'm doing the right thing. We got to watch out for ourselves. We got to watch out for the people that we care about, you know, because we're headed. I mean, if you don't realize that we are headed for some kind of major conflict, we can't continue to do like they like to call them proxy wars. So, you know, with Russia fighting Ukraine, we're given all kinds of weapons. We've already given billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of weapons to Ukraine, help pay for their society to have money to be flush with cash. Right? We've already done that. We already know that. We're paying pensions. We're paying teachers and doctors and everybody else over there, but we're not taking care of our own. So what is up with? I don't like I said. I don't get it. Oh, Lulu says we may have conflict on our soil. I absolutely believe that's coming. And you know what the sad thing, Lulu, when that does happen, when that happens, people are going to be shocked. They're going to be like, "Oh my God, I didn't see that coming," because the government said everything was fine. There's nothing to worry about. My favorite people on YouTube, folks. Okay, my favorite people are the ones that come on the channel and go, "Nothing's ever going to happen." Well, something is always going to happen. That's like the stupidest statement that I think anybody could make, that nothing is ever going to happen. There's going to continue to be natural disasters. There's going to be continue to be strife. This group don't like that group, and all those type of things. That's going to be a continuous thing. We have an invasion going on in our country right now, an invasion, and our government is allowing it to happen. Why? Why is that? Because they what more future Democratic voters, right? That we'll give them all the handouts in the world, but we won't. Why is it? Why is it? Well, now see, you're going to get me on my soapbox here, guys. Why is it that it's okay to have all these illegal aliens come in the country? And I don't know if you guys just saw this one. There was a boy in North Carolina that got suspended from school because the teacher had said to use the word alien, in a topic, and he had said illegal alien. And a Hispanic boy in the class was identified or was offended, right? Hey, full of hope. I identify as whatever it says. I like that. Thank you very much, full of hope. That is so funny. Thank you very much. Appreciate the donation. But you have a teenage boy gets suspended because he uses illegal alien, because that's exactly what they are. They're not newcomers, folks. They're not newcomers. They are here illegally in our country. And our government, the people that are in charge right now, are allowing it to happen. They're allowing it to happen. They've rolled back all the things that Trump had put in place and opened the doors and just let these people stream in. So what is our government doing, right? Giving them free room and board. They're paying for food. You look at the one program in New York City, $53 million. I got $53 million to give these folks $1,000 a month food cards, prepaid Visa cards, right? So that they could go and spend all kinds of money on food on our dime, by the way. Uh, taxpayer dime, right? So they can do that. They're giving them free health care, but yet for years, I paid through the teeth for health care for my family when the kids were little and everything like that. I didn't get any help. I paid all out of pocket for health care to make sure that the ex-wife and the kids could all go to the doctor and do their appointments and all that type of stuff. And as soon as you said Trump, I got a commercial not suppressed. Oh, there's the shadow banning, all of that. It's insanity. It's insanity. When you talk about certain topics, if you bring up certain things, man, your numbers go down. Your numbers go down. So it's absolutely nuts. And they have the absolute nerve to charge City Hall in New York demanding it. Exactly, Don. Exactly. We're just supposed to give them everything. But yet, our veterans that have been in combat for this country that have mental health issues and challenges, they're on the street. They're not getting the help that they need. We're not giving them housing. It's just, don't even get me started on the VA. Don't even get me started on that because it's like, oh, oh, okay. Thank you, Terry, for letting me know. Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, that you guys would get commercials because started talking about a certain topic that they don't want you to hear about. It's not going to stop until we do something about it, until we get somebody in there that will do something about it. And I think that's happening in November. They don't want that to happen. They don't want that to happen. I mean, think about end of watch 4/21/24 for the Chicago police officer. Well, you look at that police officer that was basically attacked by a bunch of illegal aliens, right, in New York City, and he ended up, they ended up arresting a bunch, and they just let him go. And what did they do? They jumped on buses and got out of town. Now they did rearrest them when they got to other places, but this is a lunacy of these people that are in charge right now. When you have a society that says to you, okay, now I want you to think about this. You're a young, influential person. You can be influenced easily and all this type of stuff. And they basically say, well, if you go into these big box stores and you only steal XYZ amount, they're not going to stop you. They're not going to chase you out of the store. They're not going to even do anything. They're just going to let you go. So, what do you think that is? That's a free ticket, folks, for a lot of people. Not people that are responsible, that are going to work every day and working hard and trying to keep their head above water. Not for those people because, they're doing the right thing. There's no reward for doing the right thing. There's no reward for doing the right thing. Yeah, I don't know if we want to, for the commercials, do the catchwords. Yeah, I'm sure I'll bring them up again. But all we do is let it continue to happen. And our government, and why isn't more people demanding that the government do something about it? So, you know, why are we not all like flipping out, calling our local congressmen? And well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I know why. We'll complain like I'm complaining right now, and we're going to do nothing about it because it doesn't really affect us directly, right? It does in a way because it's our tax dollars, but what are we going to do? We're going to do nothing, and these people are going to continue to steal with immunity, being a revolving door system that keeps putting them out. Yeah, because it'll go nowhere, Don. You're 100% right, Don. It'll go nowhere. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to allow to happen what's going to happen, and that is exactly what they want. And then when the time comes, I want you to think about this, folks. When the time comes, um, almost like how protesting does nothing. Exactly, RC Kev. Protesting don't do nothing. It really doesn't at the end of the day, unless it's France. Unless it's France. So, yeah, I talked about that just a little while ago, Troy. I was talking about the North Carolina student who was suspended for using the word illegal alien, and on his record, it's being deemed as a hate crime. That's why he got suspended because of a hate crime. Oh, I'm sorry, there's certain words you can't say now. You can't have your opinion. See, and there's the other problem that we have. Well, let's think about this. When you have an opinion, right? Because what I'm giving you guys, like today in this live stream, for the most part, I'm giving you my opinion, right? I'm giving you my opinion. But when my opinion doesn't jive with the accepted narrative, then I'm bad. I'm terrible. Yeah, hate speech is subjective. Yeah, exactly. And the problem, Terry, is if you're offended, that's a you problem. That's not the other person's problem. But again, you know, nothing's going to change. I honestly don't believe it will. So I'd like to see PN1 in a commercial. I wonder what product he would sell. That's, yeah, who knows? Yeah, France protests are on another level. Exactly. But when France protests, they listen to the people. We don't do that here. We're too comfortable. There's the problem right there, guys. We are too comfortable. And until it gets to a point where it's affecting us other than our tax dollars, which we will sit here and complain about, they'll continue to do nothing. They'll continue to allow, you know, thousands and thousands of people every single day to come into the country illegally, and then there's no incentive for them not to. I want you to think about that too. What are they doing? Who benefits? Again, and I'm going to say this over and over and over again. I'm going to say it over and over and over again because people will understand it better. Um, who benefits from illegal aliens coming into the country other than the Democratic Party, right? Big business. Big business always benefits. Now you got cheap labor. You're going to have a whole workforce that's going to come in there, be really happy to have a job, work their butts off, because Americans are getting to a point where they're going, oh, wait a minute. I don't want to be treated like crap anymore. I expect to have some dignity, you know, and that's what you're seeing. These people that are coming in here, a lot of them, they're happy to be here. They'll do whatever you want them to do, and they're not going to complain. Now, it may take the next generation of them once they have their children and their children grow up as Americans, right? That generation would be different. But if you have a whole workforce coming into this country that also will do the jobs that Americans won't do, they'll do the jobs Americans won't do. So think about that. So, but again, we're going to be shut down because and again, so what do they use for people that speak their mind? They go, wait a minute, this isn't right. What's going on here? Well, if you don't agree with the narrative, then you're a misogynist, you're a white supremacist, or the other one was it a white national supremacist? Of course, then of course you're because if you're a Christian on top of that. I mean, heaven forbid, terrible, terrible thing, right? Uh, you're a xenophobe, you're a homophobe, you're anti-Arab. I've said, guys, many times, I have no problem with people coming to this country for freedom, for whatever, anything like that, if they do it the right way. Oh yeah, and racist. We forgot that. So of course, that's probably the big one. RC Kev, we have huge issues with people that won't work. Oh yeah, we do. I see it all the time. I talked to it. I'll tell you what. I talked to a gentleman the other day. I talk. I talked to a lot of people, folks. Okay, I talked to a lot of people. Oh yes, or we're far right mega Republicans. Yes, I'm sorry, Richard. That's right. That's, yep, yeah. That's what I love how they do that too. Yeah. So, but talked to a gentleman the other day. He said, "I have a roofing business. I've been doing roofing, for 20 plus years." He goes, "Nobody wants to work." He goes, "I saw one of the guys holding a sign, we'll work for food, blah blah blah." He said, "I offered this guy $20 an hour to come and work for me." And he went, "No, I'd rather sit here and hold the sign." He goes, "So when I hire," he says, and this is a true story, guys. He says, "So when I hire an all Mexican crew to come and work for me, and then people go, well, why do you have these people working for you?" He goes, "Because they'll work, they'll show up, they'll do the job, and they're happy to do the job." Again, that's what this is. This is a new workforce that's being brought into this country. Why do you think a majority of the people coming into this country are men? Now I know a lot of people say, "Oh, fighting age men," which I'm sure there's some validity to that. Okay, I'm sure there's some validity to that. But the reality is, a lot of these people, and I'm talking the ones coming from China as well, all right, all any country, they want to keep their head down. They don't want to make waves because they don't want to be deported, right? So they go in, they get hired someplace, they start working, and and again, for the ones that are coming up from South America, folks, and I think a lot of people don't realize this either. Where do you think a majority of that money is going? Where's a majority of that money is going? It's going right back to South America for their families. That's how they're doing it. They can come here, make the money in the United States, and if you have, well, you got a group of 20 guys, right? You got a group of 20 guys, and you rent out a house. Well, they'll all sleep all over that house. They'll pool that money to pay for the gaming and the rent and the electric. They'll do all that. Oh, roofing is hard, sweaty job. It's a brutal job. They'll do all that, so then when they get their paychecks, only a small percentage has to go towards rent and stuff like that. They can send a lot of their money back to South America where their families are. They can't make the kind of money down there that they can make here, even when they're doing the crappy jobs, and they're happy to have them. They're happy to have them. So they come up here, work for 5 years, they go back down to South America and live as kings for 10. So why would you not do it? I would do it if that was the availability to me. If they said to me, "Hey Ed, man, go up to Canada. You can work and you're going to make a whole lot more money," which obviously is not true, but you can go to Canada, make a whole lot more money, and then you can ship all the money back to help your family. What do you think people are doing? They're doing what they need to do to survive. That's what they're doing. So we have to look at who is to blame here for this happening. Okay, obviously the government, whoever's in charge at the time, for allowing it to happen and not doing anything about it, when people have said, what is one of the biggest problems that we have right now? What is one of the biggest problems that we have? And the majority of people in this country, folks, are saying the southern border. They're saying it, okay? They're making it very clear. And when they're doing nothing about it, what do you think is going to happen? It's just going to continue to go on. My father and both brothers worked as roofers, siders, and carpenters. Very hard work. Absolutely, Kathy. Very, very hard work. Yeah, you can make $20 an hour in California for fast food jobs. Yeah, but look at how many of those businesses are closing. Look at how many are closing over there. A tremendous, tremendous amount. The U.S. is also dumping a crap ton of money into the F-22 Raptors, even though China has designed radar to detect our best stealth fighter in the F-35 Lightning is riddled with issues. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Don said, "We own a siding business. We don't hire workers anymore." McDonald's says $14 to $20 per hour here in Michigan. Wow, that's crazy to me. Yeah, but the cost of living, yeah, yeah. All right, Okie Forge was just saying, what's the cost of living in California? It's impossible. You look at all the people that Of course, what did they do? They go there. They live there. They're born and raised in California. They vote for all these laws and rules and everything else. And then when it becomes unobtainable to be able to survive and live, they all leave. And what do? They go to Texas or wherever else they go, and they take that mindset with them when they go to the new place, and they vote the same kind of crap that they got away from, the high taxes and everything else like that. It's just we're coming to a breaking point, folks. Okay, it's coming to a breaking point. Why do you think there's such a push? Why do you think that there's such a push to take away our weapons? Right? Why do you think there is that? Think about it. I want you to think about it. Why is there such a push to take away our weapons? Is it for safety? Or could it possibly be because they don't want you to be able to defend yourself from a tyrannical government? I wonder what that is. I wonder what a matter. I wonder what that's all about, really. You look at, hey, a great example, folks, in our not too distant past, 100 years ago, right? Nazi Germany. They came up. They took the weapons away first, and then it was total and complete control. You got rid of everybody that was an agitator. Uh, you know, you look who was in the concentration camps. Let's think about this. Now, obviously, we already know that there was a bunch of Jews, right? We already know that. But what you don't hear about, realistically, what you don't hear about is political dissidents, people that were against whatever they were doing. They were locked up. You had the gypsies, the Jehovah Witnesses were locked up. You had what? Who else? I'm trying to remember who. Oh, if somebody was mentally retarded, they were put to death. They just killed them. They took them out of the towns, and they were gone. That was it. They got rid of them. Any mental defectives, gone. They're not. They were gonna. They were gonna bother taking care of them, right? So anybody with an issue was gone. Anybody that was against what that system was locked up, either worked to death or just killed. So it's not, when you think about the whole big picture of it, but of course, the what are we only ones we ever hear about, because that's what's being pushed, is the 7 million Jews that were killed. There was a whole lot more people, a whole lot more people. Yeah, and that's, yes, that's, Dawn is right. After they did science experiments on them, exactly. So, but that's happening right now. They're using that playbook. You know, Anybody that goes against you is bad. They're horrible. It's their fault. Like right now in America, right? I mean, let's be honest. Whose fault? Who's the one that is to blame for all the problems? All the problems. Well, it's white America. I mean, let's be honest, right? We're the easy whipping boy now, because heaven forbid, you know, they got to blame somebody, so they got to make somebody the bad guy, and if they can do that, yeah, Trump as well. Yes, Don, you're right. Trump as well. Yeah, he is. He's been attacked nonstop. But then we got somebody that's wandering around cluelessly, and oh, he's doing such a great job. And then you got the cackling hyena waiting in the wings, licking her chops, waiting for him to go. But I would possibly go to jail for defending my home. Isn't that insanity? That is insanity. Well, look what they just said in Canada, folks. And I love my Canadian brothers and sisters, so please don't take this the wrong way. But the police in Canada have said, in Toronto, especially like Toronto area, Leave your fobs for your cars by the door, because the people breaking into your homes, right? They want to steal your car. They want your car. They don't want you, they want your car. So leave your fobs by the door so that they can, it's in Ontario, yeah, Ontario, Canada. Leave your fob by the door so that they can break in, find the fob, and they can go and steal your car. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. You break into my house and I'm home, you're not walking out. You're not walking out. And then you'll have people say, well, you value your stuff more than you value a human life. No, they value my stuff more than their life. That's what they do. If they want to try to come in while I'm home and steal my stuff, it's not going to end well. And the fact that you have, you could be charged for defending your home. That's insanity. That's insanity. So, yeah, leave your pew pew on your hip next to your keys. Exactly. Oh, it is egg count time. Thank you, JJ. I didn't even see that. So before we do the egg count, we got 391 in the chat, guys. We have 217 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I thank you for that reason ahead of time. Really does make a big difference with the algorithm, so I do appreciate that for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell icon to get all notifications as well. And again, I thank you for that as well. All right, so starting right now, you guys stop with the guesses. Stop with the. I'm not going to start until you stop with the guesses because I'm not counting any of those guesses. You guys, you know the rules. You guys been here long enough. Yeah, keep doing it. I'm not counting any of these guesses, folks. Until I say start, we're not doing it. All right, starting now. How many eggs? And yes or no for the white hen. You guys kill me. You guys do kill me. You're very funny. I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses in. Uh, Everybody wants to jump the gun, get that early start. All right. If you had the same exact guess as Clyde Young from Inverness, Florida, Clyde is the winner tonight with 6 eggs. And obviously, if all 6 hens laid, then yes, the white hen did lay as well. So they were good today. It was very overcast here most of the day and not exactly warm. But yeah, so congratulations, Clyde. You are the winner. You've won absolutely nothing, but you are happy about it. I think that might be the first win for you too, Clyde. Is it not? I believe that it is. See, Clyde said, "I'm happy." I knew it. See. Uh, so anyway, folks, you know things are not going to change until it all falls apart, in my opinion, because that's what they want. What we are doing right now is not sustainable. We cannot continue to do what we're doing. There will be coming a reckoning in the form of a financial collapse or whatever the case may be. We're headed for a reckoning. I was talking to somebody and he was saying, well, they want to usher in a digital currency. That's what they really want, the powers that be. And I love when people say to me, who is they? They are the ones that are really truly running America. That's who they are. And when will America stand up and say enough is enough? You know what, Nick? I don't think it's going to happen. I honestly don't. Um, I honestly don't, because what the plum trees are doing great. Yep, the plum trees are doing fantastic. I'm going to get a lot of cherries. I was looking at my cherry trees, and even though they're obviously small, and this is only year two, I had a ton of blossoms. They're already developing the little cherries. I should get a pretty decent amount of cherries this year, which to me is exciting. I think it's awesome. So, but anyway, we are too comfortable here in America. We've had it easy for way too long. And so when something is going on, we may be upset in all that type of stuff, but nothing is going to change until either we stand up and is a large vocal majority, then things would change because then they would have to change. What I think what people don't realize is we truly do outnumber them. We outnumber them. And if we as a collective group ever said, you know, we're not doing it anymore. We're not doing it anymore. Then things would change. Yeah, we're spoiled. We're absolutely spoiled. And until something affects people directly, right? Then they're not going to do nothing about it. And then it usually by that point when something is affecting them directly, they're in such a bad way financially that what about the millions of prisoners in jail when SHTF? Yeah, think about that's a great question. That is a great question. Now, I don't know if you knew this or not. I'll talk about this, and I this would now again they may have changed this. I doubt it. But if we were ever invaded in a foreign country, there is in place the prisoners in the prisons, especially the very bad prisons. Maybe not the lower prisons where people did not commit heinous crimes, but in the very bad prison, they'll all be euthanized. No question about it. They're all going to be euthanized. I talked to a guy. I was working as an instructor in a gym when I was in my 20s. So that's why I said, again, this could have changed since then. I don't know, but I highly doubt it. But he was saying, now he was in prison. This kid was in prison, and he was in Attica. And if you higher levels, they plan to eliminate them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Don. That's what I was saying. This kid was in Attica, and Attica is not a nice prison in New York State. Obviously, if you look at the history of Attica and what's going on there, not a pleasant place to be. And he was there for selling cocaine, and so he was telling me, he said, they have a plan in place that if America was ever invaded, that they would kill everybody, like in that prison system. You know what I told him? And he didn't like me much after that. I went, good. I said, a lot less scumbags in the world. Apparently, that wasn't the answer he was hoping for. Hello. This is her first visit this evening to say hi to everyone. So, but yeah, it just so again, but there'll be a whole lot of prisoners, and that'll be out on the streets, and they were being locked up for a reason. Again, I honestly, what always kills me is they talk about, well, what about all the poor people that were railroaded, that are in prison, that are innocent. There is a percentage of people that have been railroaded and sent to prison. I guarantee it. Okay, but the majority of them are not innocent. They're not being there locked up because of whatever reason, you know. Uh, or not good reasons. CME solar storm, just a matter of time. There's that as well. Okay, you got it. That doesn't feel good after a while. And her breath is horrific on top of everything else when she's breathing right into my face. Not pleasant as well. So, um, yeah, solar storms definitely can take out the power grid as well. That absolutely could happen. And did you hear about our base in Syria getting hit earlier today? I had not. I had not heard about that. So, like I said, folks, the biggest thing that we can do, any of us can do, we're not going to be able to make a difference, to be honest with you. There's not enough of us that will stand up and say no more. It's just not, there's just not enough. Yeah, halitosis is a terrible thing. What we can do is control what we can control. Again, be as ready as you possibly can be. Okay. That's all we can do. Take care of your families, take care of the people that you care about. Prepare the best way that you possibly can in every aspect of prepping. It's great to have weapons and ammo stockpiled, and you should. I absolutely 100% believe that you should. You should have a whole bunch of it ready to go. But at the same time, you got to think of the other things that you're going to need as well. You know, I'm not with what I'm doing. To be honest with you, it's not about just surviving. It's not just about surviving a SHTF situation. It's about thriving on the other side. That's what it's about for me. That's why I do what I do. Planting all the fruit trees, getting blueberry bushes in, getting raspberry bushes in, and on and on and on, getting these things squared away. The reason that I'm doing it is because I want to have a renewable food source that I'm going to have every single year, that I'm going to be able to have it grow and stuff like that. So, what about nuclear war from China and Russia? I don't think we're going to see nuclear war. I honestly don't, because nobody wins in a nuclear war. Again, I will tell you what my thoughts are, guys, as far as that goes. The only way you destroy America is from within. That's it. It's the only way you destroy America. You could not invade this country. Too many people are armed. Way too many people are armed. I saw something, they were saying that a small percentage of the people have all the guns, and they were saying like 3% of the people have the majority of the guns in this country, and like they have, each one of these people have like 30 or more guns. Okay, guess how many you can shoot at one time? You can only shoot one at a time. That's it. Okay, so it's just, and who knows what, I don't know where they're getting their information. There was, oh, think about this, guys, and here's a question I have for you. So you go to the doctor's office, right? And one of the questions they ask you, are there guns in the house? You send your kids to school, and they're asking the kids, are there guns in the house? And my kids already knew what the answer was every time. Nope. That's it. Nope. And it's not their business, you know. Like I said, what's that old saying? F around and find out. So, you know, uh, it's a crazy world we live in. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Whatever's going to happen, we're not going to be able to stop it. That's a fact. All right, they're on that juggernaut, and you're watching. We're in that toilet bowl right now, and it's spinning, and it's on its way down. That's what I see. Uh, Again, we cannot financially continue to do what we're doing as a country. It's just not doable long term. It's just not. There's no way for it to continue on. So we have to make choices. We have to make decisions. And, my decision has always been, I'm going to look out for the people that I care about. I'm going to look out for the people in my group. And, when that time comes, we're going to do what we have to do. So, you know, that's it. And, putting yourself in a position to be able to weather that storm long term, that's a smart thing. That's just a smart thing. It's insurance, folks. That's all it is. At the end of the day, it's insurance. And I'm paying myself, you know. That's how it comes. That's how it comes down. Everybody in the group, people will say, well, why do people do this? It's insurance. They're thinking of the big picture. They're looking ahead. They realize that we have to come together, that we have to work together when things do go sideways, and it's just a matter of time. It's all it is, folks. It's a matter of time. It's ticking away. It's tick, 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 ticking away. So it's a matter of time. So watch and see. I mean, you're watching it. We all have a front row seat to the destruction of America right now. It's what we decide to do on the other side of that's going to be important. How are we going to act? And again, you want to destroy America? Cut off the power grid. Simple as that. And it doesn't have to be an EMP because then you screw up everything. Grid down. Because if you do a grid down situation, right, there's going to be prioritization of where the fuel is going to go to keep the generators running. There's going to be those priorities. Do you think the Great Depression will ever happen again? I think what's coming for us will be much, much worse, Alex, than the Great Depression, because at least our forefathers were more prepared for the Great Depression with gardening and everything like that. Those skills are gone. So, yeah, so it's just like I said, we're winding our way down, and when that time comes, it's going to be a shock to everyone. I, I was having this conversation today. Everybody in my group. Let's talk about that real quick, and I'll kind of explain this real quick, and then we're going to do shout outs here in just a minute. Everybody in my group, when the time comes, we're all losing people that we care about. Every single one of us. Every single one of us, myself included, right? There's going to be people that I care about and that I love that are not going to make it here. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. So everybody's going to come in and they're going to get here, and that's going to be great. But there's going to be the stress in, like, oh my God, this loved one, that loved one, I know they didn't make it. What are we going to do? Right? Think about that. So you're starting off from that jumping off point. It's not going to be the joy of, yes, I made it to the bug out location, and we're happy. Yeah, it's going to be, okay, yes, I'm happy that I made it to the bug out location, but you're going to be thinking about all those people that didn't make it, that you loved and that you care about, that wouldn't listen, that you talked to, that you tried to get them to pay attention, that were so wrapped up, you know, if the US is going to ban TikTok or not, right? That was their concern. There's so many folks. And so now you're starting from that end and you're having to deal with a bad situation. Not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. All right. So let me pull this out because I can keep talking about that. People, honestly, folks, people have no idea. They have no idea. They have no concept of what it's going to be like. They just don't. And people, well, how do you know? Because I know human nature. I've been in the medical field for a long time. I see how people react to death. I've seen it over and over and over again. Even when they know it's coming. I want you to think about that. I worked in how many nursing homes through the years? A ton of different places. Okay, and you deal with death in nursing homes. That's just the way it goes. Okay, and when people even know it's coming, they still react badly. So when you start losing people that shouldn't be dying because of their young or whatever the case may be, think about what kind of effect that's going to have on you. That's just something to think about. All right. Shout outs. Let's do shout outs. We have, and again, guys, we got 357 in the chat. We're at 263 on a thumbs up. Let's see if we can hit 300. How's that for a goal? We'll try that. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I do appreciate that. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithms as well. So I thank you for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you very much. Appreciate that. So we're 33 away from a 300 goal. See if we can hit 300 thumbs up, because why not, right? All right, so we're going to start out with Heavenly Hills Homestead. That's Ryan growing giant vegetables. Definitely check him out as well. Good guy and doing interesting stuff over there. You got Icky Can up in Canada, living off grid, doing his thing up in Canada. He is 3 hours north of Toronto, so he is way, way up there in Canada. You have Angry Prepper. That is Jason. Jason's a real good guy as well, down in New York City, doing his thing down, or I should say now for me, up in New York City. See, I'm so used to being upstate New York and go down in New York City. Good guy as well, definitely worth to listen to. You have Alaska Prepper. That is Rudy. Rudy's a good guy as well. A lot of good information on his channel. You have Alaska Granny. There is Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance. Two different channels, same guy, master builder, living off grid up in Canada, doing his thing up there. There is Demcad. I like him a lot too. Good listening to him. There is Corporal's Corner. You have Bjorn Hansen. There is 80K Man in the Adirondacks of New York. You have Bizarrizza Jizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles, a very interesting series, very interesting story. You can definitely pick up some tips from that story. You have Marfugal News, Adam and Dax out on the West Coast doing their thing out there in Seattle. Definitely worth to listen to as well. There is Magic Prepper in North Dakota. You have Wranglestar. Cody's a good guy. A lot of good information on his channel. Definitely worth a listen to. You have, where were we here? Red Poppy Ranch. We have Survival Lily coming at us out of Europe. There is Kyle's Cabin, Kyle and Sierra doing their thing up in Minnesota. Nice young couple. Definitely worth to listen to. Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband-wife team. They've been going at it for a long time. They split their time between Michigan and Alaska. A lot of good information on their channel. There is Green Greg's. You have Southern Prepper 1 with his Boots on the Ground series. There is Gray Man Prepping. You have Doug and Stacy. Doug and Stacy is another couple that have been around for a long time. A lot of good information on their channel as well. You have the Nomadic Movement down in Panama. Excuse me. Doing their thing down there, living off grid. You have the Green Dream Project showing you what it's like to live in the desert and do all that type of thing. It's really interesting. Camping with Steve Wallace doing stealth camping, a real good guy as well. Bush Doctor Survival. There is the Monkey Works. You have the Needy Homesteader. She's been around a long time as well, and so definitely worth to listen to as well. Boss of the Swamp, another master builder. Very interesting to watch what he does, so definitely check him out as well. There is Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Diamond's a very smart guy. Anything you want to know about the Grand Solar Minimum, he's a guy to be listening to about that. You have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. Straight Shooter, I like her channel. City Prepper, there's Lumina Acres. You have Suspicious Observer giving you all the latest information of what's going on with the sun, the solar flares, and everything like that. We have Bear Independent, the Uneducated Economist. There is Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands of La Palma. You have Mary Greeley News. Mary Greeley gives you all the latest of what's going on with Yellowstone, earthquakes, and everything like that. Really interesting to listen to her. There's Adapt 2030. You have Malachi's Corner. Truth Be Told with Tara. If you're going to get your weather, folks, there's only one guy you should be getting your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall Y'all. Ryan Hall's a real good guy, very passionate about the weather. He also gives back to the community in a huge way. A lot of respect for him. There's Russell Brand. Russell Brand is also interesting to listen to. He gives you the information and lets you decide what you want to do with it. There's Deep South Homestead, another very family-friendly oriented channel, definitely worth to listen to. You have The Outsider. There is Betting on Alaska, a young man up in Alaska. He is the son of Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods. Definitely worth to listen to, starting his journey trying to live off-grid up in Alaska. There is The Fit Farmer. You have Prep Rebel. There's Simple Life Reclaimed. You have Townsends. Townsends, again, they've been around a long time. A lot of good information on their channel showing you what it's like to live in the 1800s. You have the Prepared Mind. There's Pinball Preparedness down in Tennessee. You have East Tennessee Preparedness. There's the Economic Ninja. And last but not least, Little House Off Griddy, also down in Tennessee. A lot of good channels out there, folks. I know you guys put a bunch of other channels up in the chat, which is absolutely fine. I have no problem with that. We're a small niche community, and I think we should be supporting each other. And that's why I do the shout out. So I think that's really, really a good thing. So what are we at? 285. We need 15 more thumbs up, guys, to hit our goal of 300. I know you guys got that in you with no problem. So 15 more thumbs up. Let's see if we can pop that goal off, and I do appreciate that. Again, it does make a big difference again with the algorithms and anyway. So But anyway, um, again, I'm going to always continue to prep, continue to get ready. We don't know what's going to happen. We're going to have to deal with the aftermath of whatever happens. When that time comes, we need to be as ready as we can be. It's not just about survival, it's about thriving on the other side. So when you think of the big picture, what do you have to think about? Where am I getting my food? How much food do I have on hand? The food that I have on hand, how long is it going to last? Right? So these are things that are very important. How much food do I have? Will it last XYZ amount of time? If new people come in and I have to help support them, now again, if I have a family of six, all right, and I have a 2 year supply of food, well, I have six more relatives show up that I can't turn away. I can't say no to them. Now my 2 years worth of food just became 1 year's worth of food. And it can go like that very, very quickly. Obviously, with more people, the more safety in numbers, but you're also talking about a large amount of food that's going to need to be consumed on a daily basis. So those are things to think about as well. The other thing with that, what we got to think about, folks, is what are we going to do? How are we going to be growing our own food? What do we have in place already that's there? Again, that's where the fruit trees come in. Blueberry bushes, raspberry bushes, those perennials that are come year after year after year, asparagus, you name it. There's so many out there that we could utilize to have in place now that's going to help us in a longer term situation in growing, having seeds, making sure that you can have the tools ready to be able to garden, having the soil ready to do that. Dawn says, I buy six number 10 cans of freeze dried food items every 2 weeks. Not a bad thing there. That's a good thing. That is absolutely a good thing. Long term food storage is hugely important. And again, being as ready as we can be is also going to be really important. So, but the more prepared you are, the better off you're going to be. And that's what we're talking about. And that's what I encourage you to do. Again, and of course, you better have a way to protect what you have, because the have nots are going to come out of the woodwork looking for a free handout, looking for something for nothing. And if you won't give it to them, they're going to try to take it with force. So you need to be able to do what you need to do to take care of the people that you care about. That's important as well. So, all right, we're at 296. So four more thumbs up, guys. Four more thumbs up gives us a goal of 300. So, all right, let's do this. We are Legion. We are many. We're all over the country. We're all over the world. Where is everybody from tonight? Let's do that right now. In the good Legion, not the bad biblical Legion. We're a good Legion. Canton, Ohio with Chad. We got California in the house with Chris. Fayetteville, North Carolina with Carol. Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house. Western Pennsylvania with Papa Bear. Trenton, Florida with Neiman's wife. Southwest Iowa with Vicky. Nowhere, Oklahoma with Okie Ford. Southwest Ohio with Barbara. West Virginia with Morning Light. Denise coming at us from California. Henderson, North Carolina with Karen. Troutman, North Carolina with Troy. Portugal's in the house. Glad to have you here. East Tennessee with Bell. Ontario, Canada with Dave. Leesburg, Florida with Joan. Florida again with Joe. Fort Worth, Texas with Sonia. The UP of Michigan with Dawn. Churchville, New York with Kathy. We got Georgia in the house with Luke. T's coming at us from Connecticut. Troy in North Carolina. Troy, North Carolina with Maverick. Sorry. Southeast Tennessee with Terry. East Central Illinois with Ranger. Montreal, Quebec, Canada with Daniel. Whispering Pines in the middle of Michigan. Southwest Missouri with Kelly. We got Virginia coming at us with Critter Lover. Rolling Meadows, Illinois with Katrina. BC, Canada with Janet. New Mexico, Santa Fe with the Bar. Missouri and the Ozarks with Delbert. Charlotte County, Florida with Gloria. Caledonia, Ohio with Jay. Kearney, Nebraska with DJ. West Central Ohio with Dale. The Mojave Desert in Southern California with Dave. Central New York with Village Homestead. West Virginia, but Florida is in the works with Sandwich. We got New Mexico with Brenda. Southern California with Terry. Greeley County, Arizona with Codster. So again, folks, we're all over the country, we're all over the world, we're a huge, huge network of people. There's a lot of us out there that are prepping and getting ready, and there's a lot more that are doing it on the low key that nobody knows about. So that's always a good thing too. Uh, so the we're the ones that I think can make a difference now by trying to help, by trying to educate people, trying to wake people up. I think that's important that we try to do that. Also, we're going to make a difference afterwards because we're going to be able to be in a position to help, to educate and stuff like that. So, really, really important. So, I see you. I do. I'm almost done. Okay. Can you wait a little bit longer, princess? Uh, we got Tim in Northern Virginia. I like West Virginia a lot, actually, but YOLO and all that. If I died tomorrow, I'd be like on the beach. It's one of those things. Oh, you got to go where you got to go. You got to go where you got to go. Wherever you feel like you need to be. I had a lady the other day I was talking to, and she said, "You have an accent," and I went, "Yes, I do. Not for me, but you know." And she goes, "Where are you from?" And I said, "New York." Oh my God, she goes, "New York." She's like, "Oh, I can't believe." And I said, "Why? Where are you from?" And she said, "Well, for the first 30 something years, I lived in Pennsylvania. In the last 11, I've been down here in West Virginia. And I hate it here. I can't stand it here." And I'm thinking, if you don't like it, why are you here? Folks, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. And she was asking me, why do you want to be here? I go, I love it here. I think it's fantastic. We got Brenda coming at us out of New Hampshire. So yeah, I just don't get people. Oh, this sucks. I hate being here. Well, then leave. Go someplace else. Go someplace where you want to be. You know, self-imposed prisons, folks. That's what most of us are dealing with. Self-imposed prisons. Not very many people will pick up and just leave. The only reason I hated West Virginia is because I was a teenager. Well, yeah, and as a teenager, there's nothing to do. There's no place to go. It's like living in the country. What do you got to do? You drink beer, you smoke pot. That's what you do in the country. You know, play loud music, hang out with your friends. At least that's what we did in the 80s. I don't know what they do now, but there was nothing to do. So that's what we had to do. Drive around, pick up a case of beer, go on a back road and have a party. Simple as that. But those days are over now. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just don't, like I said, I wanted out of New York for so long. I left when I was 27. Went down to North Carolina, lived in North Carolina for a year. There was family issues that I had to go back to New York for. I planned on being there for a short time and then coming back south. And that turned into, you know, 30 years more in New York. Um, it happens. And I wanted out the whole time. I'll tell you, I wanted to go. Family obligations wouldn't allow it and all those type of things. But when finally the kids were grown, and it was time, I got out. And I tell people, I escaped New York. That's exactly what I feel like I did. I escaped New York. So anyway, guys, I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. Very much appreciate what you do, ladies and gentlemen. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much for that. I want to thank all you guys for being here, being part of the channel, and supporting the channel. I appreciate that as well. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And, we just kind of do our thing, right? So also, guys, remember, we truly are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. As soon as we can figure that one out, we're going to be in much, much better shape. We have to come together as human beings and work together to make things happen. We got Doug in Northern Texas is also in the house. Again, we have to come together or they're going to win every time. So they like to keep us divided using race, religion, political affiliation. It's all nonsense. None of it means anything. So, we have to come together as humans to figure out, and if we do, there's no stopping us. Also, remember, guys, to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Best mantra, I'm telling you right now, keeps you right focused on what's important. If you use that, you can accomplish anything. If you set realistic goals that you can meet and you follow that mantra, you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. And the only person stopping you from reaching that goal is going to be you. That's it, nobody else. If you stay positive and stay away from negative people that tell you what you cannot accomplish, you're going to be just fine. My again favorite thing to tell people is when they tell me what I couldn't accomplish was watch me, and every time it's always happened. So there you go. So be safe, everybody. Keep prepping. Take care of your business, and you're going to be just fine. Have a great night, and I will talk to you all later. Prepperness One out for now.